Hi, Prayer Warriors. Welcome again to another session of the Breeze Prayer Network. Today, I want to talk to you about 8 keys to laser sharp discernment. How can we know if we are discerning properly certain situations, people, places, and things based off of what God is telling us? It's very important during these times that we know that our discernment be on, due to the fact that it could mean life or death for many people. So I just felt like this is a very important topic that I wanted to talk about today. In this session, I'm going to give you guys 8 keys to laser sharp discernment and how you can know if you are discerning properly or if you are off in any way, shape, or form. We've seen it many times where people have discerned a certain thing. They thought that they had heard from God and it really wasn't. And of course, people make mistakes at times, and we understand that. But we want to constantly be growing and learning so that we will have more opportunities that we get it correct versus times that we miss it. So the first key is openness, and you want to be open to however God chooses to speak to you and through you and accept any possible results. So you want to kind of just sit back and be open to whatever the outcome might be. This is a real important thing to remember. Number 2 is selflessness. Put your own desires aside. So if you have a certain outcome in your heart or something you want to see, you want to move back and you want to allow God to take total control of the situation, and don't allow what you think and feel to put conditions on what God is revealing to you. Just because you maybe want things to turn out a certain way, or you have a certain vested interest in a certain situation, you want to become selfless. You want to become a partner with God, meaning your selfish desires and your wants and your needs are second. So that will allow you to hear more clearly as to what the Lord is saying. Number 3 is courage. Have courage and confidence in God enough to give up control and put the situation in His hands for assessment. Be ready to act boldly and take risks. So that's a big one. I know for me, I'm not really a real risk taker. I have to push myself out there. So this is number 3 is very, very key. It's will allow you to overcome certain things or limitations that maybe you have on yourself, and then allowing you to allow God to encourage you to have confidence in Him that He's not going to let you fall. And even if you do make a mistake at times, being able to come back and admit that you did not get it. That's one thing I notice a lot of times when you hear people, prophetic voices or ministers or whatever it might be, when they make a mistake, a lot of times they don't come back and admit, and that takes a big person to do that. So if you're able to come back and say, you know what, I missed it there, and I apologize to you all, and we're all human, we do sometimes miss the mark. That is a major key to getting it correct, because you've allowed yourself the courage to own up to any mistakes or anything that you might have missed it at. Next is number 4, know yourself. Learn and grow in the knowledge of who you are, so that you become more aware of your tendencies and how you communicate with yourself. So learn within yourself how you usually communicate with yourself, so that you do not mix that up or confuse that with the voice of God. Knowing your strengths and weaknesses will allow you to do this. So if you have certain tendencies to pull towards certain ideology, I can't get it out. Ideologies or certain ideas. I'll just say it like that. Certain ideas, and you know that you have this certain connection or you feel a certain way about a certain topic. This will allow you to know and decipher, okay, that's me, that's not God talking. That's like, for instance, I'm going to give you guys an example so you'll understand better. Let's say, okay, there's the election going on, and personally in your heart, you feel connected more to a certain candidate. And so you do have a strong desire for that individual to win. So instead of like quieting your mind to really hear what the Spirit of the Lord is saying to you, in your heart, in your desire, you come out and speak a word or say something that is related to the candidate that you want to see, pretty much pushing them forward and speaking out when that was not what the correct outcome was, but that was what you wanted to see. So you, in your flesh, you called out something and it turned out to be incorrect. So I just wanted to give that example because that's a prime example of what you might be seeing right now. People on social media or all over the place speaking what they would like to see the outcome as, and it is not correct. So be sure to decipher your voice from the Most High's voice, and the way you do that is by communicating with God and learning His voice, and then not only learning His voice but learning your voice, hearing what you in the spirit realm, what your desire and your spirit wants and desires. So that is number 4, knowing yourself. Number 5 is honesty. Be honest with yourself and your feelings. If you discern that something is from God, then embrace it. And one way that you will know is it will not go away. Like, it'll consistently be pressing on you constantly and will not leave. No matter how bad you pray, you're like trying to ignore the call of God, trying to ignore discerning and things like that. It will be a consistent tug on you until you acknowledge it. You will have no peace until you do it or until you acknowledge whatever it is. So you're consistently, you may even have sleepless nights at times. I know with myself, it was a particular word that I was supposed to give to someone, and I kept sleeping on it and I didn't do it. And I kept wondering, it was just so like constant, reminders, like waking up through the night, never not being able to sleep consistently until I released this word. And once I did it, I had total, complete peace. So that's another way you'll know. You'll have an inward peace that you did the right thing and that you accomplished whatever it is that God had instructed you to do. So that is one way you can know. It just really, once you discern that something is from God, act on it immediately so that you will have peace in your heart, your mind, and in your life. So number 6 is humility. Recognize your imperfections and be willing to learn and be guided by God. And this is what we are just talked about, having the courage to realize that you are not working this alone, that God is working with you and through you, and that you are not perfect. And when you come to that point, then the Most High can come in and meet you and operate through you in ministry or whatever calling that you have been called to pursue. The next is 7, patience. Have patience, and God's will is a process. Take time to notice your inward witness, your inward feelings. When you hear people say your inward witness, that's how do you feel inside? Are you feeling uneasy about something? Or do you have peace that, yes, this is right? Is there peace regarding the situation? And if not, then you should wait. So if you feel that something is not right, then you need to go to God in prayer about it, but do not make any sudden moves or actions until you have that inward peace and you know that this, whatever it is right. It's the right thing for me to do. It's the right step for me to take. It's the right path. And you will know, because it'll be just like a stillness, and you will have confidence in the next thing that you're supposed to do or say. So feelings of uneasiness is a sign that it's possibly a no, and you want to go to God and just confirm that, and you will know, because you'll see even signs. Be open to how God will show it to you. It may be through, you're walking one day and there's a sign with the words on it, answer, which is the answer to your question, or a song that might come through that has the answer to your question, or just, it could be anything. And a person could just come up and just tell you right then and there. So just be open to however the Lord is going to minister it to you and give it to you. So, and have the patience. So if the answer is a no, you can wait. And sometimes the patience is very important, because you might not be ready for the answer. Whatever it is may be that intense that you're not ready, and God knows you're not ready. In my particular situation, I had discerned some individuals improperly, and I was thinking of them in a way that was not, they were not. And so I had entrusted them with, my trust, and talked to them and things like that. But I had no idea that behind the veil, or behind closed doors, there were conversations going on about me and different plans that, were not God's plans for me. And so I went through, and this is where the prayer watches come into play. And you can incorporate those. If you go back to the previous video about the prayer watches, you can incorporate those to manifest clarity in every situation. So I went into the prayer watches. I would come in at 12, 3, 6, and 9, all for 24 hours. And I did this pretty much for 7 days. So that's what I'm saying. If your answer doesn't come right away, you might have to stretch it out to 7. You might have to do 30 days. You might have to do 40 days. You might have to do 6 months, 3 months, however long it takes until you can your answer manifests. Mine's, it took 7 days, and I went through, and sure enough, the situation exposed itself. I didn't have to do anything. The players in the situation, actually, they confessed without even knowing. They confessed to me who they really were in my life, and I was able to accept it and move on, because I knew that that's what I was asking God for, and I was ready. At that point in time in my life, I was ready to receive the truth of what was really going on. So don't be afraid to incorporate the prayer watches and to go through 12, 3, 6, 9 until you get the breakthrough answer that you receive. And once you receive it, it's definitely a freeing experience, because now you can move forward in confidence, knowing that you are on the right path to whatever God has called you to do. So number 8 is quiet. Take time to quiet yourself. Meditation and prayer are ways that will assist you in becoming what God has called you to be. So get quiet before the Lord and seek his face. You don't have to say anything, but just focus on hearing. You want to hear God, and once you hear his voice, you will know. You'll have a peace inside. There'll be peace, a strong, powerful sense of peace that you are, making the right choice or doing the right thing. What I like to do is get a piece of paper and write out my question to the Lord. What is it that I'm seeking? What answer am I in search of? And I will just fold that up and I'll pray over it. And you can do it how you feel comfortable doing it, but I'll even anoint it with oil and I will pray over it and put it on my nightstand, and I will believe God, and then sure enough the answer will come. So don't be afraid of how long it might take, but just be patient for the answer. And so now I'm going to give you guys some top Bible verses about discernment. Okay, so you can look these up on your own time. 1 John 4 verses 1. Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. For many false prophets have gone out into the world. That's 1 John chapter 4 verse 1. Hebrews chapter 5 verse 14. But solid food is for the mature, for those who have their powers of discernment trained by constant practice to distinguish good from evil. Again, that's Hebrews chapter 5 verse 14. And I'm going to read it again because Nat sound. Sorry about that. It's okay though. But solid food is for the mature, for those who have their powers of discernment trained by constant practice to distinguish good from evil. Philippians chapter 1 verses 9 through 10. And it is my prayer that your love may abound more and more with knowledge and all discernment, so that you may approve what is excellent, and so be pure and blameless for the day of Christ. Hebrews chapter 4 verses 12. For the Spirit of God is living and active, sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing the division of soul and of spirit, of joints and of marrow, and discerning the thoughts and intentions of the heart. 1 Kings chapter 3 verse 9. Give your servant therefore an understanding mind to govern your people, that I may discern between good and evil. For who is able to govern this your people, your great people? Make sure you get it right. Great people. Not just people, but great. Romans chapter 12 verse 2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. So you want to discern what the will of God is. Once you can discern what his will is, then you can walk in his way freely and confidently, knowing that you're on the right path. James chapter 1 verse 5. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given him. James 1 verse 5. So that was James chapter 1 verse 5. The next one is 1 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 14. 1 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 14. The natural person does not accept the things of the Spirit of God, for they are folly to him, and he is not able to understand them, because they are spiritually discerned. John chapter 7 verse 24. Do not judge by appearances, but judge with right judgment. So never look at an individual, a person, or a place and make preconceived assumptions. Go to God and allow him to reveal to you who and what a person, place, or thing is supposed to be in your life, because you never want to make the mistake. God could be sending you destiny helpers. He could be sending you people to help you on your path to the next chapter of your life, and then you make the wrong decision and destroy that. So this is where discernment is very key and vital in everyone's life. So that's John chapter 7 verse 24. Do not judge by appearances or a book. Don't judge a book by its cover, basically. Go deeper in God and allow him to show you who, what, and where. And so you can place things in their rightful place. People, places, and things in their rightful place. Matthew 10, verses 16. Again, that's Matthew chapter 10, verse 16. Behold, I am sending you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. So be wise as serpents and harmless as doves, or some versions say innocent as doves. But you want to really, really be on key when it comes to this, because some people, places, and things are not what they seem, and you want to be able to discern this to protect not only yourself, your family, but also to protect what God, the anointing that God has placed on your life. Everybody has something that God has placed on them to do, and an assignment for them to fulfill, and you don't want anything hindering that. So this is where discernment comes in, and it's very, very important and vital. So I just want to thank you all for coming in today for this particular session. I know it was a little bit longer, but I felt like this was very important to do this particular teaching. It does align back up with the last teaching on the prayer watches, and you can utilize those in order to accomplish discernment. Go in, write down, and this is just a physical act you can do. Write down whatever it is that you're questioning. Okay, is that person supposed to be in my life? Am I supposed to move here? Am I supposed to work this career? Am I in the right job? What am I supposed to purchase this home? Or whatever it is, the question is, you write it down on a piece of paper, and I anoint it with oil, prayer oil, and I pray over it, and I put it right where I can see it. And every day I pray over it, and I thank God for answers. So you come in confidently and thank God for answers. And if it's something really serious, you come in 12, you come in 12, 3, 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, every hour on an hour. If you need to set an alarm, do it. And if you're out and about, what I do is I set my little alarm, and then I'll walk away from wherever I'm at and say a little prayer, and then come back to wherever I am. If it's something that's very pressing and you need answers like right away, I want to just encourage you guys, because it does work. It worked for me immediately when the answer came. Like I was just so shocked, but it gave me confidence for the next time around when I really had something going on and needed an answer, that God does hear us, and he is going to hear us and answer us in the way that we need to be heard. So thank you all again, and I love y'all. Thank you for joining me and for taking the time out to view this session. If you like what you've heard, feel free to like and subscribe to this video and to this channel. And if you have any prayer needs or any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to email us at thebreezeprayernetwork@gmail.com. Again, it's thebreezeprayernetwork@gmail.com. You can also feel free to enter anything in the comment section. Thank you again, and I'll look forward to you all joining me again in the next one. Bye for now.